Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Ooh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I wanna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Corsicana, Texas. What's up, Dallas Fort Worth? What's up, Houston, Texas? Welcome back to the show. You see us too. We are the Burning Coals Podcast. I go by the name of Mr. Know It All Reactions. Give it up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have on the side of me my main guy, brother from another mother. We got my guy, Bougie Weirdo. Get up for Bougie Weirdo. Yes, indeedy. Following in suit that will be here here shortly, hopefully. We got our guy, Gentleman Jamal. Get up for Gentleman Jamal. And also the first lady of the Burning Coals podcast. Give it up for Educated Queen. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. So we are the Burning Coals podcast. Here is where we have fire interviews. We have hot topics, have burning questions and serious conversations, and we also say what needs to be said on this show. On the side there, we do have a comment section, and we highly recommend that you guys put into the comment section. You can definitely go there, put your comments in the comment section. We will read your comments out, and we will also put the comments into the screen and read them out so that everybody can definitely see them. Now, we recommend for this show, we would love to have some participation with the audience. If you want to call into the show, we do have 2 streaming platforms available. We have a Facebook platform available. We also have a YouTube platform available. You can definitely hit one of those. We'll bring you on the show. You can fire off your questions. You can give you a shout out. You can also talk to myself, Bougie Weirdo, whoever you want to shout out to. You can definitely talk or ask us ask us a question yourself, and we definitely answer them. But if you want to come at one of us, I always tell you guys, we do shoot from the hip and we don't mind doing it at all. All right. So now that we got all the ground rules out of the way here, B-Dub, how you doing on this beautiful Tuesday night, B-Dub?
Chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain. Man, you got that setup looking nice, brother. It almost got that Kevin Samuel-esque.
Hey, you know what?
Kevin Samuel-esque going on over there.
I ain't gonna lie. When I first kind of got on to him, that I don't know if you remember that little pendulum thing he used to have.
That was fly.
Man, I searched until I found it. I found it and I almost bought it, but I said, I ain't gonna do it.
Why not,
I
man?
I liked it.
Why you didn't do it though, B-Dub?
Mostly because of the price and I'm cheap. I want to keep it real with you, but I don't know. I might pull a trigger on it one day. Who knows?
Now, B-Dub, see, we got to get away from using the word cheap. We're gonna say, was it economic sufficient, efficient? Whatever you want. It
wasn't in my budget. Let's put it like that. It wasn't in my budget.
I definitely understand that. Yep. But yeah, it's looking nice, man. The setup looking nice, man. The camera and everything, quality, all that's looking good, brother. So congratulations, man. Yeah, you're coming through, brother. Coming through. As far as me, man, Tuesday night, man. Hey, look, I look forward to being on the show. I don't really have a lot going on because I'm just a boring dude. I'm just a boring guy.
Hey, me too, man.
So so I'm just a boring guy, B-Dub, and man, so I'm just enjoying it, and I look forward to Tuesdays, have these different chats with everybody. Unfortunately, right now everybody's not available to show on the show right now, but you gotta take care of your business. You gotta take care of your business. So hopefully, Gentleman Jamal pops in, but we know EQ. She has some things that she has to take care of. And EQ, we say salute and we love you, sister. And we definitely see you for episode number 41 next time. All right. Mm-hmm. So now that we said all that or whatever, we don't say a whole lot. We're gonna go ahead and jump straight into the show. Here we go with the screen here. The banner. We're gonna be talking about Black History Month. And I know that's going to be a nice piece of conversation with myself and B-Dub. We're going to definitely try to dig into it and try to, give you guys our opinions about it. How we think that there's pros and cons to it. Would you say that, B-Dub? There's pros and cons with it. Yeah, that's pros.
Definitely pros and cons for sure.
Right. So there's pros and cons with the whole Black History month thing, whatever. But that's what we're gonna be discussing today. We're not gonna be talking about your history, only your history. We're not gonna only be talking about her history, our history. This is Black History Month for the whole month of February, and we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So B-Dub, let me ask you this question. All right. When it comes to Black history, okay, because we just talk about pros and cons. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the pros that you like about Black history? What are some pros that you can think of when you think about Black history, brother?
Well, I mean, obviously, information. It's a spread of information, and that's always good. People who are not familiar with some of the things that Black people have contributed to this country and to this world, they get to find certain things out. So I mean, if it's knowledge is definitely a positive. It's always a positive.
Right. And B-Dub, I'm gonna have to piggyback off on what you said with old man, because you get to, I just think that Black history only shares just a little. It just kind of scratched. It don't even scratch the surface, B-Dub. I just think that it just kind of give you just a little bit of taste, just a little bit into our world, and they put it all together in 1 month, whatever. But it kind of shows you knowledge and information on what we had to endure, throughout our existence, and we still enduring some things, issues to this very day. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe that like you said, B-Dub, knowledge is definitely power, but at the same time, if we're going to do that, I believe that we should not only just be knowledgeable of Black history, but also we have to be able to be more supportive of Black history. We got to be more engaging with Black history, and we also got to make sure that we consistently live Black history instead of just everything that we got going on now. Whatever, because honestly, be honest with you, B-Dub, and I know there's gonna probably talk more about the cons of it, but with the whole month of Black history, whatever, man, it's almost like it's become commercialized.
Well, so okay, two things here.
I know it.
I was about to say something.
I know it.
And then that last statement got me thinking about something else, but I want to go step by step.
Okay, so let's do it.
Now I agree with that one part you said we should be living Black history every day. Because you asked me what are the pros. So to be fair,
we're gonna do the pros.
Question, I have to answer the question.
Right.
You already know my position. I hate Black History Month. I think they should get rid of it.
Well, we're gonna do that in the cons, though, B-Dub. We're gonna do it in the cons, B-Dub. We're gonna do it in the cons. Cause I know we got the cons will always, be a whole lot. So,
but now the last thing you said, now that's a separate conversation, but that's interesting though, because you said it seemed like it's getting commercialized. Now, I would have to push back on that and say, okay, what's so bad about that? Now, let's set aside the fact that I think we should get rid of Black history, but I'm just saying we got it. So, because here's my thing.
Yeah.
We did the same thing with Juneteenth.
Yep.
We complained. We said, oh, no representation. Everybody wasn't free on the 4th of July. Everybody wasn't free until Juneteenth or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they make it a holiday. And then companies start putting out products to celebrate Juneteenth. They just making money off of us. They just trying to make money off of Juneteenth. And, Walmart put out the ice cream and people went crazy and shut them down in one day. But it's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
We need representation. They should show us. They should talk about it more. Then people talk about it, but you don't want them to capitalize off of it. But that's not how the economy works. That's not how America works.
Right.
Like we want other cultures to respect us and celebrate us without taking part in it.
Yeah.
But it don't work like that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but that aside, that's a whole separate conversation away from Black history itself. But just the part about commercialization, I don't particularly have an issue with that because that's a part of the representation.
Right.
Like if you want to see more black people in the movies, I mean I have to put more black people in movies, which means I have to make more movies, and I'm going to make money off of those movies.
Right.
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 So you want me to represent Juneteenth? Okay, so I create a product that celebrates Juneteenth that people can buy and can show their pride, but you don't want me to make money off of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you want? Do you want the representation, or so?
But you know what though, B-Dub? I one of the cons I believe that I really love about the whole Black history, what I like about Black history is that now you can't no longer just try to sweep away our existence. You can't sweep that away no more. You can't put it up under the rug and all that or whatever. So you have to be able to learn about the little Black history that they do teach us inside the schools, whatever, but you still have to learn something about our culture from our existence to what we are at now, whatever. You have to learn something about it. No matter how you want to try to cut it up and slice it up or whatever, man, you still have to learn something about.
I don't know. They trying. They definitely trying.
They can't. Yeah, they try. They try, but they can't get rid of it, B-Dub.
I just saw on the news today, I want to say it was Virginia, a school in Virginia. They teach Black history. And you know what Black history they teaching them kids? That the slaves, we don't know what the background was of the slaves, of the foreigners who came over here, is how they put it. And they were probably slaves or servants in their homeland.
Right.
This is how they're teaching slavery. They're foreigners who came here that we don't know what was going on before they got here, but they was probably slaves or servants.
Right. So
that's the Black history they teaching up in Virginia.
So in other words, they're trying to rewrite Black history. What they're saying, B-Dub.
Right. So
even
if you talk about it, you can still, kind of hide it or misinform people.
Right. Yeah, right. But you know what though, B-Dub, I look at it like this. With the knowledge of Black history, why when they trying to hide it and they try to make it dark and muddy or whatever, man. But it's like a fine piece of light in the darkness. You still gonna be able to see it, regardless of how you try to cover it or whatever. It's gonna still find a way to creep through all that darkness and actually be exposed. So yeah, they can definitely try that, but it's I don't know. Good luck with trying to erase all that from happening or whatever. So I just don't see it happening. G-Man, welcome, my
what's
guy.
What's up, my guy?
G-Man, what's up with it?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Oh man, we doing good, man. We doing good, man. Hey, we need your help here, G-Man. We talking about pros and cons of Black history, but we talking about pros specifically right now with Black history. What are some of the pros that you recognize with the month of February with Black History Month? Because B-Dub was talking about knowledge. I was talking about information and knowledge as well, and leaning towards everything that B-Dub has said.
Yeah.
What would you say would be some other things that would be positive with the Black History Month?
First of all, happy Malcolm X Day. Today is the day Malcolm X went on to be with the ancestors. So happy Malcolm X Day.
Right.
I think the positives, that's right. The positives obviously are it gives recognition to the contribution that Blacks played in building this country. I said it before, we're the only non-immigrants in this country. Black people did not migrate from their home country. We didn't flee our home country to come over here in search of a better life. That gives us a very distinct claim to this country. So I think the whole giving it a month, we've had it's been debate for years about, well, it's the shortest month of the year and blah, 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 blah. The fact that we have it, you take your wins when you can. All right, you want the shortest month, you want no month, right? I say you celebrate Black History Month 365 anyway. That's my personal belief. I don't, but I understand that, okay, we're gonna designate this, I guess nationally, whatever. So it is what it is. But Black History Month is 365 for me. I'm all about. I kind of came in on the commercialization part of it, and we absolutely should capitalize on it. Whether it be Juneteenth, because any other culture does. If you go Cinco de Mayo or St. Patty's Day, right? There's monetization in celebrating or your own culture or somebody's culture.
Right.
But again, you live in a capitalist nation, and what I always say, the golden rule is he who has the gold rules.
Right.
So we can capitalize on it. Yes, Black people, y'all should be. If you own anything, Black-owned business, y'all should be monetizing the heck out of the month of February. All kind of Black History Month specials and deals and packages and festivals. I mean, if we really and stop like kind of fight. Okay, it's here, right? I get it. Some people don't. Cool. Well, while we're here, let's get this money because financial freedom is our only hope.
Right. So speaking of finances, G-Man and B-Dub, so wouldn't it be nice, like you said, if we were able to, not only capitalize on it, but also see exactly what comes from it when we capitalize on it in our communities, in our schools, in our neighborhoods and things like that. Because it don't make no sense to capitalize on it, but then everything else is in shambles. The way we live in, the way we how our households and everything is ran, we don't capitalize on it, man. It's not actually, we don't see it at all. We know we spending it because according to data, Black people, we are the number one consumers it is when it comes to spending power. We are number one, but we don't see none of that money nowhere. We said it a million times on this show that we don't see it nowhere in our communities at all. We just don't. But wouldn't it be nice to actually see, to see exactly what's going on with our finances, with money that we spend on Black History and Juneteenth and so on and so forth or whatever, you name it. It'd be nice to just actually go ahead.
That's not a Black History issue though.
No.
That's a 365 issue for us, unfortunately.
Right.
I think while we have the month, quote unquote, maximize it. Get all you can. Get all you can and can all you get, as they say.
And do what with it? We maximize it.
Well, that's another show.
B-Dub, what we gonna do? We maximize it, B-Dub. What we gonna do?
Well, my thing is this. So I think we have to first look at where we're spending our dollars, right? I think part of the roadblock is we put so much pressure on Black businesses to redistribute in the Black community, but we're not spending our dollars with those Black businesses. We're spending the majority of our money outside the community. So we need to be putting pressure wherever we spend our money. We need to roll up to BOA, or I ain't gonna say a particular bank, but we need whatever bank that most of us at that's in the community. We need to roll up to that branch 200, 300, 400 deep and be like, listen, we need receipts. What are y'all doing for us? We need y'all to fund or something going in our community. We need money being redistributed in our community, or we taking everything out. You about to get 400 accounts closed today if we can't get something popping in the hood and y'all can't put no money over there. So it can't just be us, because it's not just us that put us in this situation. It's not us at all that put us in this situation, matter of fact. But we can be a part of the solution to help ourselves out, but we can't let the people that put us there off the hook either.
Right.
And the way you do that is with the power of the dollar. So we got to do one or two things. We either got to start pressing and start putting pressure on where we spend our money and say, okay, we're going to spend it wherever. It don't matter who we spend it with. Okay, cool. But we need to put pressure on them people to support the community. Or we need to pull that money back and say, okay, who's up first? Who's gonna start this black shoe line? Who's gonna open these black restaurants? Who's gonna do this? And that's where the money go.
The problem with that, B-Dub, is we take the money out of BOA and y'all just gonna move it to Chase. Y'all gonna move it to Wells Fargo. See what I'm saying?
See, that,
this is like when we talk about, well, we're not gonna shop at whatever store, and all y'all gonna do is go and take it to somewhere else or just overspend or make up for it whenever the smoke clears. Oh, we're not gonna buy Louis. We're not gonna, whoever we got an issue with.
Yeah,
it has to be more comprehensive. People talk about the boycott, the bus boycott, why it worked, but they're not telling you is it took years of them not riding that bus, over a year, for a sustained, protest for that to work. They didn't say, well, we're not going to ride the bus for a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months. They stood until however long it takes. And I don't think we have that same commitment to obtaining justice to get that done. In the perfect world, you're right. But that have to be, it's not just bank because, you're just taking it from one, to put it into another. They all got their hands in our communities and making money out of it. You got to stop going to the corner stores too. You got to stop going to
facts.
XYZ. You know what I'm saying? We have to do a whole lot of taking our money and spending. That's where the issue is, where we're going to take it to. We're going to have enough grocery stores as it is in some hoods to say, you know what, I'm not going to shop here, I'm going to go there. I'm not going to bank here, I'm going to bank there. Sometimes it's just people can't, maybe we are fortunate enough to have means to go outside and spend elsewhere, but like everybody don't have it.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't, that's why I said it got to be one or the other. If we're going to spend it wherever, okay, that's fine, but we still got to put pressure on the people that we spending our money with. And I agree. And I think a part of the problem too is we don't, like, probably half the black people in America don't even know that black-owned banks exist in America. There's not a lot, but there's some.
No local branches.
Huh?
There ain't no local branches.
Right. So, and I remember, I want to say maybe 5 years ago-ish, there was a big push. And all the rappers, because I remember Paul Wall here in Houston locally, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, they all went down to, I think it's called One United Bank, and they was encouraging everybody. Everybody went down there. We went, took our little $50, opened up our little account or whatever. And but it was like, okay, that was a one-time thing, and then they was gone. We do trendy stuff. That should have been the ongoing thing.
Yeah.
For Black History Month, if you're gonna promote something, that should be the only thing we talking about in Black History Month. On TV, on TV One, well, BET ain't black owned no more. Any black owned outlet, Urban One, TV One, the Weather Channel, Byron Allen, he got to get involved too. We can talk about the weather and talk about making it rain at this black bank over here. Like we got to put that out there and make that push for people to start moving their money there. And again, but still, we can't just move our money and let them off the hook. We got to move our money and say, okay, ball's in your court now. Y'all got to look out for us, just the same as we would do with anybody else, or we should be doing with anybody else. That's the problem. We don't put pressure on nobody.
Nope.
Even some of the businesses, we go support the black-owned businesses. You go support the business, you putting all your money there, and they got a Maybach parked outside and Gucci down from head to toe. So it's like we still not putting no pressure. We just saying, okay, well, I spent my money at this black restaurant, so I did my part, or I bought this from this.
That's where we get it. That's where I think we kind of lose it too. But I get what you're saying. But we never question what the Indians do with our money. We never question what.
We don't question what nobody do with it.
We never question what any other racial group do when we go in there and give our money. But in comes our people, we act like we gotta have banks. No. If I ain't asking where nobody else, I'm not gonna ask where if I give it to a black-owned business, I just give it to them. I did my part, and hopefully, As I always say, we don't play team ball. If we played team ball, that black-owned business would do right by their own people. Because I can tell you what, no other group of people will turn on their own people for any other group. Except
I agree.
us.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree with that, but I still think that's what I'm saying. Like we got to start holding somebody accountable, but we can't let ourselves off the hook either because we don't hold nobody accountable. Most of us don't anyway. Like, because that's the same with me. We go out of our way. My wife and I, we make an effort to go support black businesses, but that's just the same as the neighborhood we used to live in. There was a liquor store, Indian-owned liquor store that didn't take credit cards, and I noticed that started happening because then I noticed the little Chinese chicken place, they don't take everything cash, and so I think, well, why would this place not take cash? I mean, not take credit cards. You limiting your business because they probably doing something shady, and that money ain't coming back in our community. So you know what? That's out. We're not putting our money over there because I'm not gonna go get cash just so you can hide it under the table and not put it back into the community with no paper trail. But everybody don't do that. And I get it. It's sometimes it's not that serious. Sometimes it's not that deep. I get it. But I just mean
it is that serious, and it is that.
I was just gonna say that it is, man. It is.
It is that serious.
It is. I'm tired of.
You know, we have to pay attention to stuff like that.
B-Dub, I don't know about you and G-Man, but I'm sick and tired of hearing like black excellence and all that old stuff, all this trendy stuff they talking about or whatever. I'm sick and tired of hearing of it. Listen, we're gonna make it simple. We got two things we can do. We can put up or shut up. These people, these black billionaires and millionaires that have all this money, all this clout, all this fame and fortune. You remember when Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, you name it, all these big wigs was at this black excellence party, and they putting up champagne bottles and all the football athletes around them, and they talking about this is what black success and black excellence look like. But what about your people that can't afford to do stuff like that? What about your people that's struggling out there on the streets in these bad neighborhoods and stuff like that? How can you sit there and say black excellence is the end all be all or successful black when your people are struggling on a regular basis every single day trying to make ends meet, trying to put food on the table? Cut it out with the whole black excellence. To me, it's almost like it's a show. It's almost like we look at me. It's almost like you come off as being braggadocious towards your own people. And we are, just like G-Man said, we are number one when it comes to our people, stunting and fronting, just to try to, just to say I got it, because for another black person say they don't have it. We showboat too much like that or whatever. Mm-hmm. And with that kind of mindset, B-Dub, G-Man, we ain't gonna go far at all, whatever. So like I told you guys in the beginning, all these the Whoopi Goldbergs, the Michael Jordans, the Jay-Z's and Puff Daddy, all these billionaires that we do have, Bill Cosby, all these billionaires, man, look, man, we sick and tired of hearing what you guys gonna do and what we should be doing. Stop all this talking. You talk too much. Let's start seeing some stuff happen, man. We got to start seeing some stuff happen. We ain't seeing a whole lot happen, man. We still see that, poverty's at an all-time high. We still have a lot of single parent households with no father inside the house. There's a whole lot going on, man.
I think one thing we need to do is
shut the hell up and just keep going. Shut up.
Black excellence anyway.
Man, it sucks.
First of all, black is not a, I mean, we can go down a whole nother rabbit hole. First of all, black is not a color. There's no country black. So, but for all intents and purposes, it's not a switch. Our skin color is not a switch that we can turn off and on. Our ethnicity is not a switch we can turn off and on. So everybody can't aspire to black. Let's just talk about success, period. Because this is a problem, and I think this is more so what you're referring to, Mr. Know-It-All. We keep showing the finish line. We wait till we get to the finish line and we say, "Oh, look at me, I won the race." we're not showing the process. That's where the success comes into play. The failures. We don't talk about the $30 million I lost on these 10 or 12 failed business opportunities. We just talk about that one lucky one where I just so happened to invest $10 million in Uber early on, and it blew up. And man, I made $100 million off Uber. Black excellence. But we don't talk about the 30 million we lost in all these other businesses and how we took it on the chin and how we was this close to bankrupt, but just persevered and kept going and kept going and kept going. That's excellence. That's the road to success. The road to success is to just really keep moving. Have a goal, set a plan, and just keep moving forward.
That's always been our strong suit. Is we've been able to persevere through anything. No other group of people has been through.
That's why they fear us.
What we have been through and still are still standing, right? Yeah, we got a lot of problems, but we still here. We don't persevere through a lot. And like you said, we don't show the downsides of it. But I will say this, Mr. Know-It-All, when we talk about what are these elites going to do, true. But guess what? If I'm on the elite, I'm like, what are y'all going to do for yourselves? Too.
Right.
Because I'm not finna risk I'm not finna put everything that I got on the line. Everybody's sitting back talking about do something for me. No, we need to play team ball. So while, yes, we do have a select few of, some people that quote unquote made it or success, which is subjective. Success looks different to, everyone. But I mean, we just can't sit back and say, hey man, y'all got it. I don't do something for me. But we do need to play team ball. We can make a lot of different Jay-Z's or Byron Allen's if we play team ball like everybody else does, right? We just don't. We don't. What is this? Stokes? I think it was Stokely. He said, "We're not out something. We out organized." I forget. We don't. We're not organized. We just not. We just not there now. We're not there yet. We so decentralized. Everybody's out for self, and this is why you see this person bragging on what he got or she has, and you don't, because that was the thing. Like, I got it, you don't. Get your weight up, get like me. And some of that, to a certain type of person, it will strive them. Like, you think you better than me, I'm finna come get you, right? Sometimes that will apply pressure and make you do better, do more, and whatever it is that you're doing. Some people will be like, oh man, look at you, and be a stroke of jealousy, whatever. We got to get out for all of that. Because I love to see the next black person win, even if it ain't me.
Right.
So I'm saying, you bring me some good news, I'm saluting, like, good.
Man, right.
Somebody needs to get through there. Somebody needs to pierce that veil.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hope that when these people get in those positions, they do the right thing. That's all you can hope for. Yeah, they can be selfish, right? Like when Jay-Z got to this NFL stuff, right? He came under some attacks, sometimes rightfully so. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but those who like, you know what, let him get in there, because it was nobody looked like us that was in there before.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So he got in there, and guess what? You have Super Bowls that have been, whatever. Other millionaires helping other billionaires helping billionaires. But that's what sports are. We keep talking. These are millionaires playing against other millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
And all that music get funded by people who ain't got a dollar. That's a whole nother conversation. But so far as Black History Month, the focus should be on, you know what? We should make it a point to support a Black-owned business. Learn about somebody who did something for the community, and you should kind of realign yourself and like, you know what? Let me focus and link up with something. Because you can't take everybody with you. Let's forget this whole notion that all of us are somehow going to get together. That's never going to happen. We just need to take the ones that are like-minded, and we need to push on. Everybody else can play catch up.
Right.
Yep.
So on that segue, we're going to get right into the segue of the cons of Black History Month.
Let's
And
go.
before we do that, we're going to let Mr. Morgan Freeman, he was asked a question when he's been interviewed about how he feel about Black History Month. And he give the interviewee the answer. And we're going to go ahead and go straight to that. So stay tuned.
to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month?
History Month, you find...
Ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No, all right, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
So that's how Mr. Morgan
Speak
Freeman.
Speak to him. Morgan Freeman.
Right. Morgan Freeman addressed that. And you know what, B-Dub? You know, Morgan Freeman, he hit, you see how uncomfortable some people get when we start talking about, you know, about Black History Month. Like when you he was the interviewee was very comfortable with asking him about, hey, how do you feel about Black History Month? And when he answered it, then he turned around and put the cards on him. How do you feel about, you know?
I'm Jewish.
Yeah. See, it's okay when somebody else have the gun, but when you got the gun and pointed at somebody when you talk about Black History Month, then you know you end up getting your foot caught up in your mouth, you know, like that man did or whatever. So the cons of Black History Month. How do you guys, you know, feel about the different cons about Black History Month? G-Man, you want to go first on that one? What about the cons of Black History Month?
Okay. Part of that clip, I understood. Part of it is ridiculous. You're not going to erase racism by simply not talking about it.
No,
You're
sir.
almost touching on some critical race theory stuff. If we stop talking about what actually happened, that somehow it goes away. It doesn't. Just not talking about it is not. And there's no way they're going to just stop calling you white, black, or whatever, because your skin is your uniform. They identify you by the color of your skin. The melanated content of your skin is what we're judged by. It's nothing else. It ain't because you come from this country, right? African American? We're not African American. Elon Musk is African American. He's born in Africa. Charlize Theron is African American, right? Even though they're white, they were born in Africa. Born in Africa. None of us on this panel were born in Africa. We ain't been in Africa 500 years. But they'll put you as African American, but you don't identify anybody racist. Italian American, legally Italian American, German American, or Irish American, or whatever. Racism doesn't go away because you don't talk about it. But I do get the point of, you know, I guess in the perfect world, we wouldn't look at color, but we all know that's just not how the world operates.
Right.
Cons of Black History Month, relegating our history to a month. Yes, I can definitely see that. And I can also see Black history, American history is Black history. There is no America today if it wasn't for Black people. And I go back to the statement I made in the first segment. We are the only non-immigrants here. Okay, American Indians were here, as we're taught. Black people were not. We didn't migrate here. There was no great migration from the continent of Africa over here for a better life. That never happened. We were forced to come over here. We built the most powerful, richest nation off the labor. We started this country off our labor. We were never compensated for it. And I guess you can say relegating it to the shortest month of the year. Yeah, we saw, you know, but so I can understand that. And I guess that would be considered a negative or a con of Black history.
Well, here's my take on it, B Dub and G Man, and let me know how y'all guys feel about what I say when I say this. Okay, the cons that I see about this whole Black History thing is this: how is it? Because number one thing is this: our history is being told and taught to us by somebody's history, by people who has lied about their history. So how they gonna try to tell you and teach you about Black history when their history, you got made up heroes in your history with Christopher Columbus, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, all these people that they had taught us in American history, which they say is history. You lied about them. You built them up. They told all these different stories about these different individuals that they had taught us about, who said these are American heroes. General Lee and all these other, Sam Houston, you name it, the list goes on and on and on and on. All right. So you have lied about your history, but at the same time, you try to tell us about our history because our history has been told by these people who's lied about their history, if that make any sense. All right. So how you gonna sit there and try to tell me about what's going on with my history, and for the most part, you can't even get everything correct on your end. I'm tired of hearing our history told and taught by us from other people that don't even know anything about what we endured, what we have endured during the past time and what we're still enduring now. We are still being taught this by these same people who don't know nothing about our history. That's the problem that I have with it, because we've been, it's almost like they tell it to us. They tell us about ourselves only so much, so that way you don't even get the full understanding, or you would never ask questions about, or never understand exactly about everything, all the important people that's been in our history. Well, they only tell you a little bit, and I believe that they want to make sure that it stays that way. B-Dub, go ahead.
I agree with your theory, but I disagree with one of your major points.
Let's
they
fight on
do
it.
know our history. They know our history very well. That is
Okay.
the reason why it's being mistaught and misinformed, or only given in tiny bits. When the truth is given, it's in small bits. But for the most part, it's either whitewashed or just totally wrong, period.
Right.
Because they know exactly what our history is.
Right.
The thing about it is, though, we idolize that. We allow that. Like, we send our kids to school to learn that, and we don't push back on it. But I would say this, though, to kind of go with what G-Man was saying earlier. Correct. The only way to be properly termed an African American, that means somebody was born in Africa and they migrated to America. Now they're American citizens, so they African American. I'm not African American. I'm not black. I'm not none of that. I'm just an American. I'm a Houstonian. I'm a Texan, and I'm an American. Now, my heritage, that's a different story. We want to talk about heritage and lineage. I have some roots, some blood that goes back to Africa. I have some blood that's native here to this country. But I was born in America, so I'm an American. So I think that's where Morgan Freeman was going with that, with the labeling. Now, will it stop discrimination? No. I think long term, I actually think racism, as we look at it, would change. So it's kind of like, can you eliminate racism? Yes, but at the same time, no, because we're just going to stop calling it racism, but it'll still be discrimination in some form or another. People are always going to discriminate. people who want to discriminate are going to find a reason to discriminate, basically is what I'm saying. Whether it be a skin color, they might not necessarily say, oh, that's a black person, but in their mind, they're still discriminating because my skin is different from yours. Or they discriminating because I live in a different neighborhood that you live in. So people are going to discriminate regardless. And, you know, and really when we talk about racism, racism is more of a system anyway, which is another reason why we continue to go through this loop over and over again of misinformation. We accept their lies. We sing songs in school in 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. That's what kids learn in elementary school.
Yep.
And you know, when you take out all the teachers and stuff, all the older teachers, you push them out and you bring in all these young people that don't care. They're just gonna teach whatever you tell them to teach. See, I grew up a little bit different, so I'm a little bit blessed because I grew up. My elementary school, 85% of the teachers was black. In my middle school, most of the teachers was black. Until I got to high school and I, you know, transferred out and went left Houston. But up until that point, most of my teachers were black, and we had these kind of conversations. They'd be like, "Yeah, that's what the books say," but let me tell you, I was for real. So we had teachers that passed on the information, but now all those teachers are gone. They pushed all them teachers out the door, made them retire, fired them, did whatever. They came in with these new tests that these teachers had to take to recertify that was impossible to pass. And now they bring in all these young people that don't care and just gonna say whatever's in the book. So we go right back to having misinformation.
Right.
So that needs to be addressed.
Right.
You know, it's a whole bunch going on, but one thing I can say, having Black History Month don't help nothing.
So, B-Dub, you think that with having Black History Month, do you think that's part of the oppressive system that we are actually involved in?
First of all, let me ask you this: when's the last time you heard anybody talk about Carter G. Woodson?
You don't, right?
Do you know who started Black History Month?
Right.
Carter G. Woodson.
Right.
It started. It was a week. It started as a week because he got with the teachers because the teachers wasn't teaching Black history. He got together with Black teachers and said, "Hey, we need to teach our kids what's really going on and teach them our history and stuff." So it started in a very positive way, but he never intended it for it to be forever. This was just a way to get teachers on board to start a system, to start a process. But then you have the powers that be to come in and say, okay, we could use this to control the narrative. That's why every year,
there you go.
You ask any Black kid, they probably can tell you every fact there is to know about Martin Luther King. They can tell you everything there is to know about Rosa Parks and all these nice, you know, safe Black people.
Yep.
But ask them about Malcolm X. It's kind of 50-50.
Right.
Ask them about Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, they probably couldn't tell you nothing.
Nothing. Right. Yep.
So what's the point? We already have Martin Luther King Day, which I'm cool with that. I think it's well deserved. I think Martin Luther King was one of those people who just was different. He was just a different type of person, and for the things he did, right or wrong, good or bad, I do think he deserves to be celebrated. But we got that. You got MLK Day.
Right.
We don't need Black History Month. Black American history is American history. Why can't we just teach history in order the way that it happened? If you're going to go to school, you're going to learn history, and you're going to talk about the 1820s, talk about everything in the 1820s. Don't exclude certain parts and then say, oh, well, we'll catch you on the back end towards the end of the school year, right before school, a couple months before school got about to be out. We'll have Black History Month, and then we'll talk about some stuff then. No, just talk about what happened in 1820 in America, period. In 1901, period. In 1625, period. Like, just talk about American history and teach American history as it happened from the time that America was established. Right. Why do we need to separate it?
Because it's going to reveal some nasty things about their history, B-Dub.
Right.
It's going to unclothe that, man. And they don't want to realize. I heard you.
That's going to help the world, because we can't get past nothing that we don't talk about. This is the problem, because Black people, we know what it is, but we don't talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody wants to hide it. So there's always that underlining feeling, you know what I'm saying, like that of anger.
Right.
And which is another thing too. I think Black history a lot of times too for Black people. I'm not talking about the commercialized version of Black History Month, but for Black people, I think we teach too much anger to our kids because we only want to talk about the bad stuff. They don't want to talk about the bad stuff. They want to talk about MLK and Nice and having dreams, and we only want to talk about the bad stuff that they did. So it's like you're getting two different messages, and it's not coming together. Just talk about what it is, explain it. Hey, you know what? This was a bad time in America where certain Americans didn't do good things. Some did, some didn't. But this is what it was, and let's teach it, learn it, and move past it in chronological order as it happened. Why are we separating and segregating, and then we'll talk about this at this time and cherry pick and talk about this at this time? Like it's crazy. I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, because when you talk bad, if they have to stir, all the things that their heroes have done over the past couple of years, then that's going that hero's going to be falling, and their hero might end up being history. I mean, it would never be spoken of or never be ever mentioned again. Whatever, they don't want that to happen. B-Dub, they don't want that to happen.
Why should that happen? Why can't we talk about it? Why can't we talk about Sam Houston? Like,
huh?
We can talk about it, but they was just a fucked up person. That's the problem. Let's be real. Let's put it on the table and let's talk about it. White people are afraid to say, you know what? My great granddad was a fucked up motherfucker. He did some horrible shit.
I ain't gonna say that.
And I don't condone it. I don't whatever, but that's our history of our family. Like, no, it's my great grandfather was he's a proud Confederate and he just fought for it. No, he was a slave owner that hated people that was a different color for no freaking reason whatsoever. That's what it was.
Yeah, worked the hell out of slaves, didn't pay him nothing, none of that.
To you, and that's cool. He might have taught you a lot of stuff. He might have taught you about the world and how to hunt. Okay, that's awesome. That doesn't take away from that part, whatever you got from it, but there's some other parts of his history, of his life that was not good. And it's okay to talk about that.
Yeah. G-Man, what you finna say, my guy?
Who wants to talk about something that they did fucked up? Right?
Right.
Do you want to talk about the first time you got your ass whooped? Do you want to talk about the first time you got your ass cheated on? Or the first time your lady caught you cheating? Or you want to talk about the side baby you made, or whatever situation may be? You want to talk about the time you got your car repoed, the time you got evicted? Nobody wants to talk about the effed up stuff that they did to somebody else. America's no different. It's easier not to talk about how America did Black people. That's why I want to talk about it. Because who does want to talk about the stuff you did? Nobody does. And not talking about it is certainly not going to fix it, especially when we have not been properly, we haven't been made whole from it, right? At least when you did all those things, somebody probably got an apology, an attempt to make it right. America hadn't did it to Black people. We're the only group of people who have been wronged systemically by the American government, who the American government has never attempted to right that wrong.
Right.
The Koreans were put in internment camps. The country, as a government, said, not only are we sorry, but here are reparations for it. Indians, not only did they say that they were sorry, here's an attempt to repair y'all, right? Even Middle Eastern countries, Afghanistan, Ukraine. America has no issue with apologizing for the wrong it has done and throwing the money to make it right, unless you're Black.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. Nobody wants to talk about how you messed over somebody, how you've harmed somebody. America has harmed Black people. And the reason I always talk about, you say we're American, but we are Black in the sense of you can't lump us into any other group as if we're all one, because we're not. We are playing catch up. when you take off with a 400-year head start and then come out like, well, why ain't y'all here? First of all, we got to play catch up. Y'all had a head start, so y'all don't have nothing to say to me, my people, when y'all got a 400 or 500-year head start. We come over here, people talking about, my great granddaddy came over here with a dime in his pocket. We came over here, we couldn't even speak our own language.
Yep.
We couldn't have our own culture. We couldn't worship. We couldn't do anything. I don't want to hear nothing about you. They didn't take anything from any other group. And any group comes over to you can speak any language you want, practice any religion, custom you want. We didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why you can't lump me in with everybody else or my people in with everybody else. And I'm, I always say this though. It was funny when you went down the order. I'm Texan first. Texans are proud Texans. Right now I'm in the, me, I'm always somewhere else. Right now, of course, I'm not in Texas, so y'all can see. But guess what? Texans are proud. I leave the country. Where you from? From Texas. I was from the USA. They know Texas, but that's just a style. But no, we this country is wrong to us, and that's another point I was going to make. So relegating it to a month, I get it, but guess what? Let's just for the sake of math, reparations ordered $1 million to any descendant of an American black slave, right? Let's just say the number was supposed. I'm just saying this for math. I'm not saying these are numbers. So let's just say it was $1 million, right? But they offer you $350,000. Are you gonna turn down the $350 because it ain't $1 million? No, you're gonna take the $350 because it's a start. It's better than nothing, right? So some people look at Black History Month. Yeah, you relegating it to a month, but it was zero before. I'll take a month and I'll start a month and then we'll push it to get it more, whatever. I always say this about educating your children. If you leave it to your oppressors to educate your children, then you fail.
I agree.
We always talk about it starts at home. It does.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
We all know that they have to teach your children something to pass these standardized tests so you can move on and get your, academic, degrees and all that stuff, graduate. That's not where education starts. Education starts at the house.
Yep.
So if your kids getting all their history, when you send them off to school and come home, you failed.
I agree.
Yep. I agree with that. I agree with that as well.
And I've said plenty of times, I've given my mom a lot of props on this show for a lot of things that she did at home, which is, a big part of how I got to my thought process and how I am now. But one thing I would say this though, going back to something you said earlier, I disagree. I think in order to be successful, well, I'll say this. No, nobody ever wants to talk about the bad stuff they do. But we all know you can't grow as a person until you do. If you go and you decide to go rob a bank and let's say you go with this other person, y'all go rob the bank, you get away, they get caught, and they tell on you, and now you got to do 20 years in prison. If you spend that whole 20 years blaming that other person for you being in prison, you ain't grew and you ain't got past nothing. But if you go in there and you say, hey, you know what? Regardless of how I got here, I take responsibility for what I did. I shouldn't have did it, whatever. You'll become a better person and you'll do better when you get on the other side.
That's not a fair comparison. That's to say that we had a part to play in this mess that they put us in. That's not a fair comparison. And it's not to say that you shouldn't own up to your own mess.
No. I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about America. That's what I'm saying. I guess that's the point I was making earlier about teaching they want to teach a certain type of history, but we know what the real history is. So I guess I'm agreeing with you in the fact that by teaching this whitewashed, watered down version of history, it's not an apology because you're not addressing the real issue. You're not addressing the system of how we got where we are. You're not addressing how we came here in the first place and all the other stuff. So what I'm saying is we need to talk about that because we can't move past it until we talk about it. And yes, an apology should come with that, and not just a verbal apology, a material apology should also come with it.
Tangible.
Resources, tangibles, all that come with that apology.
But
Don't give me no watered down.
We can't get to that part until we get to the acknowledgement. And I'm saying we, I mean America. Until it's acknowledged, we can't even get to the apology and the reparations. But we don't even talk about it.
They can keep the apology. Just send me my check.
Right. I don't.
Right.
I don't want no. If you could give me a watered down apology, I don't want it. Keep your I have a dream. Keep
I want everything.
Y'all can keep all the statues.
Keep your
Send me my check, and we good.
Yeah. Keep your constitutional rights. Keep your Gettysburg Address. Keep all that. If you're gonna give me a watered down version of an apology, keep that, man. I don't want you to do me that way. Keep it.
I've said it before. The only true apology is changed behavior. So it don't matter what they say anyway, until you rewrite the Constitution, because we forget that technically, legally,
it wasn't meant for us.
3/5 of a person.
Right.
So
that's why I said keep
change
it.
the system that caused the problem. Apology ain't gonna be nothing, but I need all of that. I need the verbal apology, I need the monetary apology, I need the systemic apology with the change in policy. I need all of that, but we can't get to that until we talk about what we really need to talk about and stop ducking it.
They ain't gotta apologize to me.
And having 1 month to talk about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks is not gonna get us there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but again, go ahead.
It's better than 0 days.
Yeah, America.
We need 365.
Man, listen,
I'm
America
365, but I'm saying 28 is better than 0.
Man, listen, man. If America had to pay for that, if America had to pay that, had to write that check for the mistreatment of black people in this country, man, we'll have some. We'll have to have they'll be spending more money, repairing everything. We'll have way more money than the military, brother. That's how much money you spend. You have to spend a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
It's a simple solution, but we can talk and we can hyperbolize all we want. It's never gonna happen because
it ain't gonna happen.
There's a reason why things are the way they are. Because there's a simple fix. Make it a federal law. Take ethnicity off of applications, off of job applications, off of school applications, off of bank loan applications.
They need
period.
They need to know who to discriminate against. They can't do that.
Exactly. Because I guarantee you, I ain't gonna say my name on camera, but I can guarantee you I would get approved for a loan with my white ass name. But
now with a name like Bougie Weirdo, they're not.
Nah, they're not Bougie Weirdo. Ain't gonna he denied like a mug.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all, we're gonna end it like this, whatever, man. But I know one thing about it, man. I love being black. I love everything about it. It's dangerous, but I love it.
I wouldn't change it.
I won't change it for the world, man. I just wouldn't. I love everything about us. We are very unique in our own special way. Even though we might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this: we'll burn this down and get us pissed. Right.
Melanin is popping.
Yeah. So go ahead, B-Dub, Gentleman Jamal, what you guys got for the closing remarks so we can go ahead and end this episode. And great conversation that we had here as well. So,
like I say, happy MLK Day, the month that we do have, Happy Black People Month. We've been fighting. We're going to keep fighting because what else can we do? But again, we love you. Nobody told you they love you today. We do. Ain't nothing you can do about it. See y'all next time.
Right, B-Dub.
Yep. Do something today that your future self will thank you for.
Right. And you know what? The Brandon Coles podcast for the day, everything that B-Dub and Gentleman Jamal said. So that being said, man, you guys check us out next Tuesday for next Tuesday's show. Same time, same channel, right here on YouTube, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are the Brandon Coles podcast. I go by the name of Mr. Know-It-All. Salute. Bougie Weirdo. Gentleman Jamal. Educated Queen. I know you didn't show up, whatever, but we want to tell you we love you. And we just want to say thank you all for tuning in to another great episode of the Brandon Coles podcast. We will see you guys next Tuesday. We are out. Salute. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.